Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Play Super Mario RPG! I'm Dave, you may call me Modenjo! Well, at least we're alive. No, I don't, Gino. Can you maybe not be so cryptic? Two worlds? Oh yeah, the figured giant sword wouldn't be from this world, but... Yes? So we can end this once and for all? Alright, sure, why not? I mean, he probably has the last star piece, anyway. Oh. Oh, come on, Bowser. Come on. We'd like your muscles. You know, they've kind of helped us. What? Oh, bullshit! I'm sorry, folks. I probably should be... I don't know, Rip your stuffing out. Well, he is a doll. How do you know that Gino's a doll? I mean, other than the obvious wood markings. We did defeat Exor, didn't we? Like what? We've kind of defeated quite a few. I mean, what? With a giant katana slice through the sword, through his keep? Privacy? Why would you... What are you doing in private that you don't want everyone to know about? Do you have dirty pictures of Peach or something? Is that why you keep kidnapping her, because you want her to pose in lingerie? Well, I mean, she's... What insult? If anything, you think it would be... You'd like to just rumble with the guy who destroyed your castle. I don't know. I didn't think they could have found a better excuse for Bowser to keep tagging along. But we could continue onward, but, you know, that's near the end. This is the end of the game. This is the end point of the game. And you know what that means. There's no better time to do side quests. Because, well, we really don't have that much left to do anyway. So I'm going to head back to Moleville and do the trading sequence a couple times till I get one last frog coin and a shiny stone. And after doing all of that, we're going to be heading back to Tadpole Pond, because, well, I wanted to buy a couple things with the 10 frog coins that I now have. But before we do that, I figure since we're in the neighborhood, might as well go ahead and talk to Todovsky. He's still looking to finish that little symphony of his, isn't he? So, you know, let's go ahead and the Tadpole will tell us that he likes a song that the star in Monstro Town dances to, so it was a simple ascending scale, followed by a similar ascending scale, just starts at a different key. I mean, honestly, they don't actually tell you what notes you're supposed to play for this. You're supposed to kind of figure it out on your own, but if you have a sharp ear and a little bit of experimentation, you can kind of figure it out on your own. But honestly, if you want to use a guide, I won't begrudge you in any way. Alright, that sounds about right. That sounds correct. Yep, and Todovsky likes it, so thank you for the inspiration. And we get the Soprano card, the final card for the juice bar, and so we now can buy Kiro Kiro Cola. You know, best healing item in the game, heals everyone to full. Costs $200 a can though, so 200 coins a can, but we have unlimited coins. And now Todovsky wants us to wing it and make our own composition, so I'm not gonna fight against that. Honestly though, like I said, and one or two times, when I play a game on an emulator and record it, I am playing completely deaf, so I have no idea what this is going to sound like until I hear the final product. So I can't wait, and I'm sure you can't either. Of course, I figured this would be a reasonable way to wrap up the whole composition. Yeah, those last 8 notes are pretty much influenced by whatever you put in, and when Tadovsky asks you to wing it and come up with whatever you want. You can actually do that as many times as you want if you want to hear different variations, but I figure that's enough. But let's go ahead and check out the juice bar. Like I said, I want to show you that, yes, in fact, you can now buy Kiro Cola, but that's not the important thing. The important thing I want to do is free up a little bit of space for the bracers that I'm going to be, not bracers, the crystallizers that I'm going to be buying with the 10 frog coins that we happen to now just have sitting around in our pocket, just burning a hole. Nothing to worry about too much. So yeah, like I said, normally I wouldn't buy anything, but considering the bonus boss that we're going to be fighting in this episode, and considering that it takes me all of 15 minutes to fight it, I could have just made it a whole episode in and of itself, but considering how long it is, I think it might be a good idea to stock up on crystallines. But that said, let's go ahead and fight that bonus boss. We happen to have the shiny stone sitting around from the raid sequence in Moleville. I did it twice, once to get the coin, and once to get the frog coin, and the other time to get a nice little, and to get that shiny stone, which we need in order to open the door. I was nervous for this fight. I mean, the guy behind this door is the hardest boss in the game, bar none. He may not be the longest, he may not be as long as some others, but he is the hardest. So I'm gonna switch in Geno, because Geno Boost. Also Geno Flash! Surprisingly useful in this boss fight. I mean, I normally wouldn't waste the F flower points for a multi-targeting spell on a single target, but Geno Flash, well, let's just say it's not gonna be single target that much. But we're also going to need to rearrange my equipment a little bit. I want to put that safety badge on Mario there, because, well, as useful as all these items are, as useful as it would be to keep Mario with the Jinx belt, the safety badge will be more important. The guy behind the store, I won't say his name yet, but he has a lot of different kinds of magic. No, not the signal ring. Yeah, I didn't realize my mistake until after the battle, ladies and gentlemen. So I go into this fight with the signal ring. So yay, handicaps! Don't you love it? And I did not realize it until, yeah, too late. But let's kick down the door now, and, eerie. Very strange, very barren, very otherworldly. Hello. Culex, huh? Vonda. I've never heard of that place in the Mushroom Kingdom before. Oh, you're from another dimension. Fight for the Dark Mage. Well, this guy is apparently a Final Fantasy reference. I've never played any Final Fantasy games besides Strongest Knight. There's, I guess, Mario's a knight? But yeah, I've never played any Final Fantasy games outside of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, so I'll probably pick up Final Fantasy VI on the Virtual Console now it's out. Nice badass boast there, Culex. But yeah, he starts off the battle with 4 crystals that all have very powerful magic. But I want to start off the battle using red essences. That is the reason I've saved those suckers for this one fight. Red essences make one character invincible for 3 turns. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw those on Mario and Geno. Peach can probably go without it, but Culex actually has enough physical attack power that he can dent. Culex himself has enough physical attack power that he can dent the Mighty Lazy Shell. The magic from the crystals, not so much, but Culex himself is a problem. Thankfully, he'll be very lax on attacking until we start destroying his crystals, and until he gets like about half health. So, but for the time being, let's go ahead and have Peach is going to be using all those stockpiled attack items I've been saving up, and the big thing again about Culex is this. Each of those crystals have very powerful magic of their elements. Culex himself has about 4,096 HP. I'd have no idea why they made it something that's a multiple, they can take the power of 2 to and get that, but I don't know. Maybe someone that works at Google worked on this game. Who knows? And each of the crystals have between 800 and 1600 HP. It varies on crystal by crystal basis. But yeah, Gino's going to be using his 3 turns under Red Essence, Gino boosting everyone. Although that may not always work, because early on, while QX still has his crystals, he will be using a little spell called Shredder, which will actually destroy any buffs that you have to put on the party. It also might lower. I'm not quite sure, but I also think it lowers. It's either it destroys debuffs or it destroys buffs, or is it debuff itself? I'm not quite sure. They never tell you what enemy spells do, and you never get a chance to experiment them with yourself. Oh well. But yeah, all that said and done, all these crystals have different elemental weaknesses. The water crystal is weak to fire. Fire crystal is weak to ice. The wind crystal, I believe, is weak to electricity, and the earth crystal, I believe, is weak to jump, and the wind crystal is weak to electricity. So keep that in mind. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I would never bring Malo into this fight. He's just not quite there as far as damage goes. But overall, like I said, this is a brutal fight. Brutal fight. I'm gonna be kicking this battle off by hitting as many people as possible with whatever I can. Rock candies, fire bombs, any elemental bombs, Geno Flash. Hell, I would probably even go with shotgun fire if it wasn't for the fact that the fire crystal is immune to fire. But let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a long... Like I said before, this is a fight that just drags on. You can go straight for QX if you want to, and if you think you can survive the onslaught, go ahead, but I, myself, would not risk it. QX does a lot of damage. He is just absolute. I mean, QX and his crystals do a lot of damage. You can see all the different kinds of magic they are bringing at their disposal: Blizzard, Water Blast, Crystallize, Mega Drain, Corona, Static E. He's got a fucking laundry list, and QX himself will be bringing in quite a few haymakers. And like I said, QX is actually strong enough that he can dent the mighty Lazy Shell. So if he can do that, he is in fact capable of one-shotting Mario and Geno. Peach will at least be able to heal up after taking a blow from QX, because because it won't be so much that she can't heal it, but it's still quite shocking to see double-digit damage come out of anything against Lazy Shell. But yeah, key spell here, Geno Blast, definitely. Since it's untyped, the only thing that will be able to resist it is, well, magic defense. QX has a good number of that. I mean, he is modeled after some kind of Final Fantasy character, so I guess magic's quite common there, I guess, in that universe. I'm actually quite surprised, though, that he isn't, in fact, a character from any Final Fantasy game, even though he's modeled after it, even though the fight music is from Final Fantasy, and yes, even though he does have some really painful spells to go around. But overall, you really... Oh yeah, and Sandstorm. The Earth Crystal does Sandstorm, ladies and gentlemen. You might want to take him out rather soon. And yeah, Petal Blast also a nuisance. And that nice little regen that being Mushroomized turn gives you, not quite as useful here, especially considering all the damage that these crystals and QX are just capable of bringing on. I'm serious when I'm saying this is the hardest boss fight in the game. I believe this is... I've only ever done it once before. You have to be prepared for this one. You cannot just waltz in right when you get to Monstro Town and expect to do your best, unless you're over leveled. I mean, this guy, he brings the pain. He brings the pain. I mean, QX himself will restrain himself early on in the fight, but he's got some really strong spells of his own. Meteor Storm, Dark Star, which is basically a singles target star rain. It really isn't something you want to watch out for. But we've taken out 2 crystals by the grace of 1 Geno Flash. Aren't we lucky, ladies and gentlemen? And look at the damage that Peach sustained. We really should start being a little more careful. And obviously, and as you can see, QX is really hard to get a timed guard on with his physical attack because of the fact that he doesn't really quite have an attack animation. He pauses in midair, and then you're instantly hit. You have to really be paying attention if you want to do that. I've never been able to get a time guard in on him, ever. This guy is just one of the... Like I said, once we've taken care of the crystals, though, we can probably relax a little. He does do a lot of damage, and it's very risky to go in with just what we have, but honestly, we still might as well just go in full blast. Take out especially you could probably leave the fire crystal alone, but definitely take out the earth crystal, because sandstorm is something you do not want to deal with when you're dealing with QX. A defense debuff combined with his attack power, no. And there's a reason I came in with the setup that I did. Omelette is supposed to be able to reduce magic damage entirely. It's not just a magic defense buff, but it actually outright reduces damage. At least, although you probably would only be able to tell by the fact that Geno is not getting hit as hard as Mario there. And of course, Mario practically has a glass jaw nowadays, so... and I'm also quite saddened that the Earth Crystal is slower than Peach with the Lazy Shell. And now, obviously, QX is now pissed, and he is starting to bring the pain now. He is actually using his physical attacks. He is using Dark Star. He will also be using Meteor Shower, which hits everyone and is untyped. And I'm not kidding, ladies and gentlemen, when I say this is easily the hardest boss fight in the game. Anyway, if you're curious about that little Google crack that I brought up earlier, I'm honestly can't think of too much else to say other than, take out the Earth Crystal, then take out QX, and maybe leave the Fire Crystal alone. It isn't that much hard. But anyway, if you're wondering about that Google crack, well, it's actually an interesting little news story that I read about recently. That Google was, Google's getting into making mobile operating systems with Android and all that stuff, and they actually were bidding for like a patent portfolio lately, so that way they could protect their IP, because they don't have that many patents. So they actually started bidding with weird algebraic numbers that I believe like their final bid before they gave up was actually $pi billion. No, I am not kidding. $pi billion. 3,141,900 something thousand dollars. They actually literally they actually literally bid pi times a billion. I'm not joking here. That's Google for you. They are a company full of engineers, and they are not afraid to flaunt it. Yeah. But I'm telling... Oh my god, how much... I think the Earth Crystal is the crystal that actually has the most HP. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure of the exact HP values. Obviously, the Wind Crystal went down very quickly, so I'm guessing it has like 800, 1,000, somewhere in that range. Yeah, probably 800. I remember one of the crystals actually have an 800 HP from my strategy guide that I had way back in the day that is long gone. Sandstorm. Thank God the fire one doesn't actually... Oh, it's Meteor Blast, not Meteor Storm. I'm thinking of someone else. But thank God the fire crystal doesn't actually have any status elements of his... that it can put on us. Just lots of raw damage, so... probably the safest one to leave alone. If you wanted to leave the fire crystal alone, go ahead. I probably still, even though it is the least harmful of all the crystals, I probably still wouldn't do it just because I don't want QX's party getting multiple turns. And as you can see, the shit is starting to hit the fan, ladies and gentlemen. This will happen in this boss fight, and you're really just gonna have to deal with it. Mario will probably die. Gino will probably die. The cheesy way to do this, though, is if you want to do it that way. Oh, QX hit Gino, damn it. But if you wanted to cheese the boss battle, you can actually, well, like I said, I forget if I mentioned this earlier, but if you go to Great Guys Casino and play Look the Other Way and win and get a 100-game win streak, you win a prize called the Star Egg, which is rock candy, but unlimited use, but does a little less damage each use. It is easily the most broken item in the game as far as damage, and I guess if you wanted to do it that way, go ahead, feel free, but I figured you deserve to actually see, someone put up an honest fight against QX, because just using rock candy, just using the Star Egg over and over and over and over, that's not an interesting fight, if you ask me. That's a dull fight, and no one ever wants to see it. Even if I'd be extremely upset with trying to deal with QX's non-stop barrage, which would likely, kill us all. But, once you do take out the crystals, the battle actually becomes pretty easy. QX has high magic defense, well, not super high, but pretty high. He can withstand the Geno Flash pretty well, but his physical defense, not so much. So we get a couple of lazy shells and star gun shots into him. Hell, even Peach can do some reasonable damage with her frying pan. It's not that unreasonable, ladies and gentlemen, but the fight itself, oh my god, especially with QX actually being able to one-shot everyone. I would probably, if Mario falls, I would probably leave him unconscious until it's just QX and maybe the fire crystal. If Geno falls, try to get him up and try to get Geno Boost running as fast as you can. Earth crystal down, not much but the fire crystal left. Ooh, as you can see, it just has like flame wall, flame, drain, mega drain. Nothing too painful, but if you want to take him out, feel free. There's no snot off my back. But yeah, QX really likes his Shredder, and I'm not quite sure if that. I'm guessing actually it might be a defense debuff, considering how he's actually able to do damage to Peach, but we'll see. Well, I actually don't know. Maybe if Squeenix ever decides to do a remake of this game, he'll get like, Wario as like a extra party member, and he'll have like a lot of the some of the spells that the enemies can actually use, like maybe not recover, maybe Shredder. Yeah, Shredder seems like I don't know. Wario seems like more brute force. I don't know. I was just wondering if Square and Nintendo were to actually team up and make a proper sequel to this game. I'm sorry, I'm running. Yeah, what do you expect? The whole episode, the fight takes 15 minutes. I'm not going to be able to talk 15 minutes through a fight. But whew, we finally took care of the crystals. How about that? Helix is easily on his way down now that he doesn't have his crystals. You really do want to be well leveled for this fight, though. I mean, like I've been saying, he hits like a truck. You do not want to be on the receiving end of a friggin' freight train coming from his physical attack that is really hard to block. But once you've dealt with QX and once you've dealt with, well, pretty much everything that he has to deal with. All his shredders, all his dark stars, all his meteor storms, all that pain. Once you've dealt with all that, and once you've dealt with all those crystals, he's actually, when he's all alone, 1-on-3, you can take him. He's pretty easy to take. He can still kind of hurt, and you really should heal up at every opportunity. But other than that, you could probably just use your physical attacks and not worry and save your flower points for just healing and Geno boosting after he shreds your Geno boost again. But once all that's said and done, once you've taken him out, once you've taken him down a peg by shattering all his crystals, he becomes not quite the easiest boss out there. He's still something you gotta watch out for, but you can take him a lot easier than you could if he had any of his crystals by his side. So, of course, the beginning is the hardest part, when he has 4 crystals, and then when he goes down to 2 and then starts unleashing his own attacks against you. That's really the hardest part. Once you make it down to just QX, you can probably make it. You just have to keep going at it, keep giving it your all, and once you do, breathe a sigh of relief, because folks, you just beat the hardest boss in the game. Whew! Yes, it is. And another game. Thank you for breaking the 4th wall, QX. So, Mario in Final Fantasy VII? No, that didn't happen, obviously, but we get the Quartz Charm. This item makes pretty much any character into a living god. I'm not kidding. It is that ridiculously powerful. Immunity to instant death and some really powerful buffs. But after a 27-minute episode, I'm going to wrap it up there. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dave. Remember, you can triumph in the face of adversity against your greatest challenges. Take care.